Welcome to A Wayfinder's Guide to Life, a podcast for entrepreneurs and leaders who've checked all the boxes and still feel something deeper calling. This is a space for stories, soul, and walking the wild path home. I'm Mike Brcic, adventurer, entrepreneur, and founder of Wayfinders. Pack light, walk slow, we're heading into the unknown. So here we are, at the end of the journey, at least this one. We've walked through thresholds, weathered storms of uncertainty, met our guides in unexpected forms, and returned. Perhaps changed, perhaps still wondering. And now, here we are. Over the past 9 episodes, we've explored the terrain of midlife with a different kind of map. One that doesn't promise certainty or speed, but that points inward. That invites us to see our struggles not as detours, but as doorways. Welcome to the final episode of Season 1 of A Wayfinder's Guide to Life. I'm Mike Brcic, and today, we're not so much wrapping things up as we are widening the circle. If you've made it this far, it means something in you recognized yourself in the call, the descent, the return. Something in you said yes. There's a reason this season followed the arc of the hero's journey. When we examine our own lives through that lens, especially in midlife, something profound occurs. The ache for something more becomes part of the path. The confusion has shape. The descent has value. It becomes not just something to endure, but something to understand. A passage with meaning. The hero's journey provides context for the wilderness many of us find ourselves in during this season of life. It reminds us that what feels like falling apart is often the beginning of coming home. That the questions we're wrestling with might be exactly what's needed to bring us into deep alignment. And now this, the invitation. To remember that the compass you've been seeking is already within you. That your longing isn't a flaw to be fixed, but a doorway into your deeper becoming. Midlife, as I've come to see it, isn't a detour. It's a sacred intersection. The moment the soul clears its throat and asks, "Are you ready to live a life that feels like yours?" Placing our struggles, our yearning, our sense of restlessness in the context of the hero's journey doesn't make the pain go away, but it makes the pain purposeful. It gives shape to the fog, meaning to the mess. It turns wandering into pilgrimage. I've had several of these wanderings and pilgrimages throughout my life. Some that were just a course correction, and some that completely changed the arc of my life. I've shared these with you over the course of this season. My first one came at the age of 34, when darkness and depression uprooted my life, and, after 2.5 long years of searching and deep inner work, fundamentally changed me. The second came when I recognized that I was no longer in alignment with my previous business, and began a multi-year process to sell and exit that company. And the most recent one came almost 2 years ago with the end of my marriage. Each of these phases was profoundly difficult, and each of them brought me to my next opening and my next expansion. Each of them led me closer to home and to my truth. Seen in hindsight, these struggles now bring meaning and value to my current and future struggles. They remind me that when I consider my struggles with an open mind and an open heart, and remember that they are taking me somewhere useful, the struggle gets a little bit easier. Or, as the writer Ryan Holiday might say, the obstacle is the way. Maybe you're still near the beginning, just feeling the tug that something isn't quite right. Perhaps you're in the thick of the unraveling, unsure which way is up. Maybe you're finally returning with gifts, trying to figure out how to integrate them into your life, your business, or your relationships. Wherever you are, remember, you don't need to build the whole house. You just need to take the next true step and trust that life will meet you there. As this first season draws to a close, I want to say thank you for listening, for walking alongside me, for letting these words be part of your path. So where do we go from here? If this season stirred something in you, I want to offer a few ways to keep walking. You're warmly invited to join one of my Soul Talk sessions, a live monthly gathering where I and my fellow entrepreneurs slow down together, reflect, and share space with each other. The link is in the show description. If you're ready for a deeper dive, check out my upcoming adventures with Wayfinders. These are not just retreats. They're living experiences that help reconnect you to your soul, your purpose, and a community that gets it. You might also find yourself drawn to go back and listen again. Start at the beginning, or return to a favorite episode. Let it wash over you in a new season of your life, or a new challenge. You'll hear things you didn't hear the first time. That's the nature of the journey. It deepens as we do. Every episode this season included a set of reflection prompts. I've gathered them into one place for you, and you'll find the link in the show description. Consider carving out some time with a notebook, or even with a close friend, and walk through them again. I'll be taking the next few weeks to rest and begin shaping Season 2, which will launch this fall. I can't wait to share what's next. If you got value from this journey, I'd be deeply honored if you shared the podcast with a friend or colleague, or leave a rating and review. Until then, trust your compass. Listen for the quiet voice beneath the noise. And remember, this isn't the end of our journey. It's the beginning of the next chapter. So pack light, walk slow. We're heading off the edge of the map. Thanks for walking a while with me today. If this conversation stirred something in you, I'd be honored if you take a moment to leave a review in your podcast platform. Reviews are how this podcast finds its way to others who might be standing at the same threshold, wondering if there's more waiting for them too. And they're a great way to make a deposit into your karmic bank account. If and when you're ready to go deeper, here are 3 ways. You can join one of my upcoming adventures with Wayfinders, where I gather entrepreneurs and leaders in midlife in some of the wildest and most beautiful places around the world to reconnect with self, with soul, and with each other. This coming October, I'm heading back to the wilds of Mongolia. In March of 2026, we'll explore the deserts of the Sinai Peninsula with the Bedouins. And in October of 2026, I'm going back to the magical Himalayan kingdom of Bhutan. You can learn more at way-finders.com. If you're a fan of the written word, you can also subscribe to my Substack newsletter for weekly stories, reflections, and invitations into the quiet, meaningful corners of life. Finally, if you'd like to connect live with other soulful entrepreneurs, join our next online Soul Talks, a monthly conversation space for people walking this road with heart. You'll find all of these linked in the show notes. Until next time, may you walk gently, listen deeply, and trust the wild places within.